Hey everyone, welcome to the North Lawn of the White House. President Trump is not here right now. He's in Florida. He's speaking to House Republicans in the Miami area today, and then later on this evening he'll come back here to the White House. But there is a major focus here in Washington, up on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are right now, and here at the White House about all that is going on with Iran. That's because Iran has reportedly selected its next leader after airstrikes killed Mojtaba Khamenei, the former supreme leader of the Iran regime. They have selected his son, which President Trump has previously said would not be acceptable to the United States. This matters because President Trump says that this isn't going to finish the attacks on Iran and its infrastructure and its military, because the U.S. has to choose who's going to be next to lead that country, because in the words of the president, the U.S. shouldn't have to go in again 5-10 years from now. They want someone they can work with. But the regime in Iran, the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, is extremely entrenched in that country. It has been entrenched in that country and becoming even more entrenched over the last 4 or 5 decades that it has been a government since the Iranian Revolution in 1979. And so even with the supreme leader missing at the top now, things have moved forward. They have named a new supreme leader, and the regime is still very much in place. So that's something the administration, the U.S. are trying to dislodge there, and that campaign continues. The other issue domestically here in the United States is that there's an increase in gas prices because of all this. Anytime you see any type of instability or volatility in that region, gas prices or oil prices are going to go up. And you're seeing real instability and volatility in that region. Not only is Iran effectively closing down the Strait of Hormuz, where about 1/5 of all oil and gas trade on a daily basis transit through, they've also attacked oil and gas infrastructure throughout the region, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in Kuwait. And so that is leading to a spike in prices for a time. Today, we saw oil prices hit more than $100 a barrel. It's come back, I think, down a little bit less than that right now. But gas prices in the United States, on average, look, it varies in which state you live in and where in each state you live in. But gas prices in the United States are now about 50% on average higher than they were just a week ago. And oil analysts say you can expect to see all of this continue as this fight goes on. The administration and the president are essentially saying, look, this is a short-term thing. This fighting will not go on for very long. The gas price hike that we've seen, that oil prices increased, is not going to go on for a very long time. And it's basically short-term pain for the long-term pain of dislodging the Iranian regime. But there are questions as to how long this is actually going to take. And even if the United States can find what would essentially be a partner to work with, or a more sympathetic regime, one that won't build a nuclear program, one that won't build a ballistic missile program, one that won't fund militias across the Middle East and Syria and Lebanon and Iraq. And the idea that could be accomplished very quickly, there are a number of analysts who are saying that it's very difficult for that to happen. This is an entrenched regime, and this fight is going to have to go on for some time. But we are following this on a day-by-day basis. The United States continues to destroy Iranian weapons infrastructure. There are also questions on Capitol Hill as to whether or not the administration should tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's this network of caverns in Texas, in the southern United States, where the U.S. keeps oil in cases like this. President Biden tapped the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in 2022 after the Russians invaded Ukraine, because there was an increase in oil prices then. In fact, the increase we're seeing now, last time that we saw something like this was after Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. And so the administration is under pressure from some Democrats to go ahead and tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve again. There are some problems with that as well. The administration and Republicans are defending the administration thus far, or haven't really jumped on board thus far, because remember, they criticized 4 years ago the Biden administration for tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, and doing so just a few months before the midterm elections. We're a little bit earlier in the election cycle than we were back then, but it's still a sense that if the president does tap that to lower energy prices, you're going to hear Democrats make the same argument. The administration says there are other things that they can do to try to bring oil prices down. They want to get more Venezuelan oil online now that there is a partner, more of a partner government there, which is the model that they're hoping for Iran, but unclear if that can actually happen. And then on top of that, you've got the president and some others in the administration who are saying that tankers should begin to go through the Strait of Hormuz, that maybe the U.S. military will be involved in escorting. Maybe the U.S. can backstop when it comes to insuring some of these tankers that go through. And so, even the president said, hey, Iran doesn't have a navy anymore because we've sunk it, and they shouldn't be worried. But tankers are very worried about transiting that. The Iranians can still shoot missiles. And so all of these geopolitics, which the oil market is a global oil market, and this all affects what goes into what people pay when they fill up their car, when it comes to oil and gas prices. And volatility is not a good thing. And that's exactly what we have in the Middle East right now. So all of this is tying as President Trump speaks to House Republicans today. We will be watching that. Then he comes back here to the White House. And we're hoping to hear anything he has to say on what he thinks about the new Supreme Leader. He days ago said that that was unacceptable to the United States. We'll see if he still feels that or if there's an at else portion there. He did tell ABC News that essentially he suggested that the administration would be going after anybody who was named leader who he didn't approve of. And so wait to hear more about what's going on in the Middle East, the ongoing fighting there, how much longer this could last, and what some of the strategic objectives of all of this are and how long that could all take. So reporting live here from the White House, Rich Edson on what is otherwise a very rare, nice day here in Washington, D.C. Thanks for tuning in.